This is 48-year-old Geraldine O'Leary on her way to an appointment with her job provider in her daily search for employment after losing her banking job 3 years ago.
I loved the job. I absolutely loved it. I take to banking and finance like a duck to water. I love it. I've been really trying. All I want is work. That's all I want.
Community welfare groups are concerned about the impact of long-term unemployment on people like Geraldine.
Well, I think number one, we have to stop pushing people down into poverty like a punishment. You can't punish people for being unemployed. Because there is a stigma about being unemployed doesn't mean that we keep making it worse.
With the high rents and cost of living, for people like Geraldine, even concession travel and food is often out of reach.
It's actually counterproductive to grind people who are unemployed into poverty, because then they don't get into the workforce and they don't participate.
Geraldine only keeps her head above water through the donations from a church friend.
That's how I survive. And I pay my food through that money she gives me. All right, that's how I've always survived. And I'm ever so grateful too, because before that I was starving 3 days, at least 2 to 3 days a week. I wasn't eating because I couldn't have any food. What very little I had, at the end of the day, I'd go out and buy it, and I'd roam around the supermarkets, bawling my eyes out because I thought, oh my God, I'm going around trying to make ends meet, and you can't. I've tried to look for a cheaper place, but no one helps. They all shut the door on you before you've even opened your mouth.
Stories like this are nothing new for employment service providers who are charged with helping people who are unemployed back into work. Increasingly, they've had to provide extra support, such as phone credit, transport cards for travel to interviews, and food vouchers.
Look, if you're in a situation where you're not receiving, you're struggling financially, that obviously has, or it could have a detrimental effect on your mental health. You're trying to survive, you're trying to get a job, you're getting knocked back, you're struggling to survive on a week-by-week basis. So it would definitely have a negative impact on the client trying to get a job.
Frontline groups say much more needs to be done. They want to see more incentives given to employers to hire long-term unemployed through paid work experience programs.
Good afternoon, Welfare Rights Centre.
Just from talking to the people on the phone lines here and seeing people when they come in to talk to us, I think employers sometimes are worried about taking a risk. And they worry particularly about someone who's been unemployed for the longer term. And that's why those wage subsidies, that paid work experience, is so important, because when the person's in the workplace, sometimes they can show that they really want to be there and they're going to do a good job.
And in everything that I've ever done, all I've done is tried to survive. And all I want is just someone to give me a break.
In the end, Geraldine wants a job, but she also needs to survive. That's why groups have been campaigning for a $50 a week increase to the New Start payment, which hasn't been increased in real terms for nearly 20 years.
If it was increased by $50, it would be a big difference to a lot of our clients. We have a high caseload of clients who are highly disadvantaged, and that $50 difference would make all the difference.
It's time for the government to move on the New Start allowance. I hope that it's bipartisan support for that move, but if it's not bipartisan support, I hope that the government moves with the support of the Greens and the Independents to stop what is really a travesty. It's scandalous.
People don't have any idea of what it is like until you walk in our shoes.
In an election year, it remains to be seen if our federal leaders can walk in the shoes of people like Geraldine.